Over the past 5 years, I've built my barbering business to 6 figures and grown an audience of almost 100,000 followers, not with ads, not with reviews, but with content that actually converts into clients. And one of the biggest reasons that the content worked wasn't just how it was filmed, it was how it was edited, because editing is what takes an average video and turns it into something people can't scroll past. Over the years, I've published nearly 1,000 pieces of content, and in the process, I've refined a system for editing that keeps viewers hooked, start to finish. And don't worry, this isn't AI generated bullshit advice. This is real insights from someone that's gone from 0 to almost 100,000 followers and built a content driven 6-figure barbering business. This is what makes the difference between barbers who post random videos hoping for views and barberpreneurs who use editing to captivate attention, build authority, and grow a business. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact editing systems I developed over the past 5 years, so you don't waste time making the same mistakes I did. This is episode 2, where we break down how to edit for maximum impact. By the end, you'll have the tools to turn raw clips into content that captivates. Let's dive right into it. What's happening, people? So you would have just seen the intro. You're about to learn my process and when it comes to editing to actually captivate my audience. So when I think about editing, I split it down into 3 sort of stages. I have my batch edit, I then remove some dead space, and then I go into finalizing. I'm going to try and make this video as simple and as easy to follow as possible. So with that being said, let's dive straight in. So we've got all of my clips here, and for anyone wondering, the editing software that I'm editing on is DaVinci Resolve. I absolutely love this. You can download this. I would highly recommend using it if you're editing on a Mac. You can download it for free, but also CapCut will work. The techniques apply on both. So simply what we're going to do is start dragging in our first clip. So our first clip here is Matty, and it's showing the before. We want to remember here, we're going to try edit it in chronological order, okay? So bear that in mind. Then when we come into finalization, we can sort of change up the clips and change the order of it so it makes sense. But we want to make sure that we're starting with the most engaging part to create that visual hook. So let's have a little look through. I'm going to mute this track quickly. I'm just going to have a little look through and just make sure we're capturing his before photos. So you can see that there. We're going to come through and just cut that. Okay, so what I've done, I've just added the first clips. I'm actually not a fan of these before clips, so I'm actually going to remove those. So our first section is going to be me taking a section. What we want to do with this first stage is basically just remove any dead space, all right? So this is basically just ordering clips. We're going to do it in chronological order, and then when we come to finalizing, we can talk about ordering clips in the way that engages people to create that visual hook. But very simple with this first stage, all we're doing is just removing the dead space. So as you can see here, we just cut it there. And this is going to be the first action of me just simply taking a nice section. And then I'm going to cut it again at the end of that action, and then cut it again right when I'm about to comb the hair away. So instantly removing that little bit of dead space. If we just take a little look, it starts with there and then straight away shows you combing through the hair. This is the start of a visual hook. And this is crucial because this is the first 5 seconds of where you're going to lock those new potential clients in. We need to make sure that this video is as engaging as possible within those first 5 seconds, because if you don't, people are going to click off and your click-through rate is going to go down. Okay, so I'm just looking through here. There's no real substance to any of those clips. So I'm going to remove that dead space, but there is something I quite like. I come through here and I comb the hair away and use my hand. I like to use that. And then what will come through at the end, we'll remove any more dead space when we come into our next stage of editing. So now we're going to sieve through, just skip through quickly. And we're just going to find the next time we're taking a clear section. I was recording the first video in series 1. If you haven't watched that, make sure to go check it out, where I show you my filming process on exactly how I filmed this video. So what we're doing now is we're coming in and finding another section, cutting it, and then starting that at the start of our clip. Look how much dead space we removed. And now we're going to click the playhead, and straight away you can see that nice clean section. Cut again when the action's finished. And now we can cut it again when we're doing the second part of the action. It's all about just cutting dead space to the moments that you think is the most engaging of the video. I'm actually going to keep this first bit here, this bit here, and then delete that bit there. So we can keep these 2 sections. There we are. Cut it there. And now we can sieve through and find when we actually take that section. Sorry, when we actually cut that section. Here we are. Now again, we cut it again, removing some dead space. Lovely. Check that clip. Sorted. There we go. So now we're going to sieve through. One thing we need to be mindful of is not having the exact same clip all the time, because it does just get a little bit boring. But as I said, when I'm filming this, I always film 2 clips of the same action. Why? Because it allows you in post-production to find the best one that suits the video. So again, this is the exact same clips what we filmed before, but I may prefer the way that I actually combed the hair or how the section came out. So we need to bear that in mind when we are filming. Okay, again, now we're going to check. Cut it there and remove any dead space, taking that nice first section. We've got the first 3 clips here, but we're going to sieve through and actually build that visual hook once we remove all of the dead space throughout all the clips. So now simply dragging on another clip through the timeline. Again, I've actually taken 3 clips of the same action here. So again, but this one's a little bit closer. So I already know I'm going to like this clip because the framing is lovely. There's not much dead space when we're actually recording. We need to bear that in mind. Also, when you're recording, you need to imagine where the eyes are going to be looking. For me right now, when I look at this video here, my eyes are instantly drawn to Matty, okay? Whereas if he was zoomed out, I'll be drawn to all of the dead space around his head. Okay, cool. Simple cut and delete. Now just come into that first action when we're cutting the hair and stop, cut, delete. We're being very, very mindful here and just removing any dead space. But remember, this is just the rough draft. What I always like to do at the end of my clips is just sieve through, okay, and just see if there's anything that I missed. And if not, simply come through and delete it, all right? We don't need any dead space in here. We need to make this video as engaging as possible. Like I said in the filming, you have 30 seconds to engage a client, right? You need to show them exactly the value you can provide, a satisfying video, and then show them the nice showcasing at the end, which I call the subtle CTA. And now we'll cut there when the section's being pushed away, because now again everything is in chronological order, but we're just removing the dead space in between each action. It's just removing any dead space and making sure that you're being critical when you cut the actual clips, because it's going to save you more time into the second and third stages of the editing. So simply again, we're going to come through, cut there at the end of the action, come through, and then cut again at the next stage of the action. So now what I'm going to do is just speed up the process. You can watch me in real time on how I actually do the first stage editing, and I'll hop back on the mic when we get into the second stage of the edit. Okay, so right, we have done all of our first batch edit, okay? If we have a little look, our video is 54 seconds long. That is way too long for a reel, okay? We want to be, the prime time is about 25 to 35 seconds. So now, what our next step, I like to call this the organizing and framing, okay? So what we're going to go through is just, again, now get really critical of any dead space. So we're just going to come through and just remove any further dead space so that we can start cutting down this video. We want it to be around 35 seconds long. And my sort of golden point that I've always aimed at is like 32 to 28 seconds. That's kind of what I found works best. So what we're going to come through is just simply go through, and you see at the start there, it wasn't an instant start to the clip. So now we're just going to go like this and remove that first section of the clip. This is where I want you to get really critical and start removing any of that dead space. It just doesn't need to be there. So now we're going to remove the first section of this clip here, okay? As nothing happens, that's just pure dead space. It doesn't need to be there. So now we're going to start the clip from here. So that now instantly we've shortened that first clip, come through. Next thing, we now have this straight away. We can stop and remove that end of the clip there. So again, the whole video just starts to flow nicely. And this is where you're going to start to build that visual hook that's crucial those first 3 seconds to 5 seconds of the video. What we're going to do, I think that second clip there just doesn't need to be there. So if we just only had the first clip where it goes like that, now we cut this, bang, go through, now we can keep that there, and then nice, lovely. Now we'll remove that first section of the clip here when nothing's happening, go through slightly, move the playhead forward a couple of seconds, and just sit there and remove any more sort of dead space. Now coming in, okay, so we see that these 2 clips here are very similar, so now we need to decide which clip we prefer better. So we have a look through here, that one, very nice, or we can go for this one. I actually prefer the first one. I think it flows a bit nicer, quicker, bang. Yeah, definitely. So now we come through here and we just remove these 2 clips as they're very similar. And that's to remove some instant dead space there. As we said, that we film 2 actions, 2 clips of the same action. So that's why the video is going to be longer. We just need to remove those second actions or duplicate clips. Again, here, look, it's the same clip again. So now we just remove that. Okay, potentially this clip here, I actually quite like that and it's closer. So what we're going to do is just find the dead space at the start and now just simply come in, remove that dead space. I'm going to change the zoom on this so it adds a little bit more dynamic to it. So we go in, move it to the middle. Again, we need to make sure that every single shot is centrally framed. Now coming in, again, we'll zoom this in so it adds that dynamic feel. But now we can remove that dead space at the start there because there's just nothing going on. Sorry, computer's going a little bit slow. There we go, delete that. And I think down here, if we're getting very critical, we can remove that first section there at the end as well. Now coming in, take a little look. That section's just a little bit slow, so we just need it to about there. And I can remove the end of that. This is where you really need to start thinking how you're planning the pacing of your video, okay? That video there is just too long, so now we clip it there, and we'll remove that end of the dead space there. So now what I'm going to do, this section here is actually flowing quite nicely. If you look, quick, nice. I don't think we need 2 there. Let's have a look. Yeah, we'll keep the 2. That I actually don't really like that section there, so we're gonna have to try and zoom this in because, as you can see, the only thing I'm focusing on is my hand, and that's really irritating. It's a bit of an eyesore. So now what we're going to go through is just simply see how that looks, keep that there, So what I'm going to go through is just kind of organize and frame the rest of the clips, and I'll jump back on once this is finished. Wicked. So we finished ordering our clips and we've done some framing, but as you can see, we've just done a rough draft of the framing. We now need to go through the whole video and actually kind of see where we need to zoom in and where we need to zoom out. So as you can see in this first clip here, this is too zoomed out. All I'm focusing on is this dead space right here. Instead, what we need to do is make sure that our client is the main focus. So that's simple. We're just going to add a little bit of a zoom. So we can see this is now zoomed in. What we're going to do now is just pull him slightly across, and now he's fully framed. We can even zoom in ever so slightly more, but now we can do this, bring him up slightly, and now he's centered the frame. And immediately my eyes are instantly drawn straight onto the client. So again, now we're going to sieve through. This one here is still zoomed out. So again, we're going to go through again, go in, pull it across, just so we remove all of that dead space. This is something we really need to bear in mind, because this is what's going to make it different. This is how you turn your amateur videos into professional looking content, okay? It's these minute details that make you different from anyone else. It's very similar to a fade, okay? What makes you different is you detailing, you using the corners of the clippers. This is you right now using the corner of your clippers, but instead you're using your mouse. This is the corner of your clipper right now, okay? You need to start switching your mindset into consumer, okay, rather than the creator. I'm going to dive in a little bit deeper when we go into the next stage of editing, but just bear that in mind. That's a little nugget right there. And right now I'm going to show you the first 5 seconds, and this is what we call our visual hook. Right now we are 2 seconds in, okay? So we've got another 3 seconds of our visual hook, all right? Again, we're going to zoom in slightly here, bang, go through, make sure we're properly framed. And again, this one here, let's zoom this right in like this. And now we're coming up to 3 seconds. I'll have a little look. Right, 5 seconds. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the visual hook, all right? So we've got our first 5 seconds. Let's have a little look what our first visual hook is going to look like. So this is bearing in mind our first 5 seconds of the video. Bang, look how engaging that is. So within the first 5 seconds, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clips. So what I always say to my students is try and aim anything around 6 to 10 clips within the first 5 seconds. This is how you create a great visual hook, all right? We want to make sure that we're just chopping up the same action, changing the zoom length, changing the side we're shooting from, because this is how you create that dynamic feel. There's too many videos out there where barbers are just shooting from the exact same angle. So what I want you to do now within your second stage of the 3-stage edit, now sieve through your content, frame everything, and just get really pinpoint and make sure that everything is central, okay? This is really key, because this is how you're going to turn your video professional. So I'm going to sieve through, do a little bit more framing, then we're going to go into finalization, stage 3 of the edit. Right, that's that. So now we've pretty much got our whole video together, right? We've framed it, we've organized it, we've got our visual hook set. We just now need to finalize our video. And this is where we incorporate music synchronization. And this is a crucial aspect, okay? So we need to make sure we're actually editing our video to the pacing of the music, editing it to the beat. And this is how you really finesse and make your video look professional. So simply all we've done is taken our audio from Instagram, put it into our editing software, and now we're gonna go through and just edit the video to the beat, okay? This is very much a tailored approach, all right? It's how you want your video to feel. So this is not a one size shoe fits all approach. This is how you want your video to go. For me, I always try and find the right video, the right pacing song for this video, for the certain video, okay? So what we're gonna do now is just kind of edit the clips to the beat. I'm gonna show you the first 10 to 15 seconds of this, and then I'm gonna edit it all, and I'm gonna show you the final result on how this video has come out. What I really want to show you this video though, is I'm actually gonna show you me posting this video. Today, the date is Monday, the 22nd of September. Can you see this? Okay, so there we go. So today's date, Monday the 22nd of September. I'm going to be posting this tonight, and the whole reason of this series, I wanted to show you how my videos actually work, so you can see the results that I actually get with my videos as well as my students. So I'm going to show you the results and how many views this video actually pulls in. But let's get back into the music synchronization. Okay, so what we need to make sure and what we're looking for is just make sure the cuts align with the beat of the music. Like this visual hook kind of edited itself, and now we just come through, and as you can see here, it cuts there. So what we're going to do, the beat drops there, we're going to cut that and just remove that little end clip there so that it's in time with the beat. Now through again. Now what I want to do is just remove that, because now we hear the change of the song. It beat drops again, so now we're going to come through and just change the clips. Now again, the beat drops a bit. Okay, so now we're just going through the video again. It's making something up on the beat. So again, we're gonna go through here. The beat's coming up. There we go. So the beat drops there. Again, we're just going to kind of remove the end of that clip, making sure it's in time with the music. Again, this is getting crucial, but try not to hit every single beat. You don't need to cut every clip on every single beat. This should kind of go with the feeling of the video. So there we can see a little beat. So I reckon we could cut it on there. Or what we could do is just kind of change the zoom in there to add a sort of dynamic feel. So look, if we just go through there, this is just very tailored to your approach, all right? This is how you want your video to feel, all right? Bang, zoom that in a little bit more, just so we add that sort of dynamic feel, all right? If you take a little look at this. Again there, the beat drops, so we can go, beat drops right there. We can just remove the end of that clip. And now it's all in time with the beat. I think here we can go through that there, another beat drop there. We're going to remove that there. With this, again, we just need to go with feel. We just want your pace in the video. This is kind of how you make your video yours, how you kind of set up the pacing of your video. And now that's simply the end of the video. So as you can see, it's very, very crucial. But one final step that you need to do, now you've edited to the music, I need you to switch your mind to the consumer, okay? We need to imagine that you're a client sitting watching this video. So at any point that you find yourself bored watching this video, you need to change up the pacing. So what we're going to go through is simply just go through and rewatch this video a couple of times and just be really crucial and pinpoint any moments that you find it boring. So if we take a look at this video, what I'm doing right now is I'm being a client watching this video going, okay, wow, that's so nice. It shows the technique, it's showing the value, it's showing if I'm right. This is how you make your video better and how it appeals to clients. And this is how you actually create content that starts converting into clients. This is something that I teach all my students, actually starting to think about creating content as if they are the consumer, right? They're the client wanting to book in. All well and good showing the perfect technique. Not many people know that, right? Clients don't know the perfect graduation, but what they do know is in 30 seconds you show them a great haircut and it's extremely satisfying to watch. That's something to bear that in mind. Let's get rid of it. Okay, so that's my whole entire editing process. You've now seen my filming process and editing process, but there's one more step that I think you should take. Okay, so the time has come. It's been just over a week since we created this video and posted it. So now it's time to see the results. And on screen now, I'm just starting to record the screen on my phone and you will see the results that we've had over the week. And let me tell you, it's been pretty good. So I'm just heading onto Instagram now. You're going to see what the results are. Here's the video we created. And as you can see, we have pulled in 257,000 views with 2.7 thousand likes, 48 comments, 894 saves. And in total, we have gained 153 followers from this one video. But the most important thing is not the views, okay? It's actually what comes from this video. On screen now, you're going to see some screenshots of the messages I've got since I posted that video. These are clients reaching out to book in with me. And this is why I'm saying that marketing matters, because if I hadn't posted that video, these guys would never have seen my work and they would never inquire about booking in. So from that one video, I gained 5 new clients. And this is what I'm telling you about, is why you need to know how to master marketing. So I hope this video has made you realize on exactly why you need to edit to captivate, and I hope that you've learned a lot. But for now, if you're a barber that's wanting to get to that next step, you can send me a message on Instagram saying 500 and I'll be more than happy to send you information so we can work one-on-one together. Or simply, you can keep plodding along and watch all the free value that I'm dropping on this YouTube channel. Either way, you're going to figure it out. But if I was you, I'd get on board and start scaling your business to where you actually want to be and start charging the prices you truly deserve. But for now, I'll see you in the next video.